What is Shektul? Paul Valentino asks. In Meridia, in Super Metroid, it's a location where you get Spring Ball. However, we are now off.
The Shactal is kind of considered like the pedestal of Super Metroid. It needs a few items to get to there logically, although you can use a few skips to get past. It takes a long time to do, and quite often it's not worth your time at all. You usually need a big 20. Now Andy is making his way into Link to the Past while Solski is going for the not usually seen trip into the Blue Brinstar portion to check out the two items available to him here.
Solski tends to like doing this trick. We see a big 20 in the Hylia Island. While what Solski's doing is a gamble. If it pays off, it could lead to a sizable advantage. And if it doesn't, he can just reset back to the ship.
We'll put him back by about a minute and a half or so. Andy is actually on his way to the front of Hyrule Castle, see what's on the uncle, and he hasn't got any bombs or anything else to make his way through the front of Escape, so it's just going to be two items here for Andy. And ooh, that's a bombers at the morph ball spots in Blue Brinstar.
Won't be useful for quite some time, but it's good information to know.
Yeah, but Bombus is one of those kind of like mid-game, late-game items because you only really need it to either get into a dungeon or, worst case scenario, you need to get it through Ice Palace with it. So Solski is making a decision to hang on to the Bombus medallion. Yeah.
Well, you know, if Morph Ball is in Ice Palace, that could very well be worth it.
Andy has just gotten himself some power gloves from the front of Escape, so that's a handy find for him too. It's going to be coming in much more useful to him immediately than that Bombus medallion for Solski.
They get some easy access to Back of Escape. Just another three very free chests, considering how close it is to the Sanctuary reset point.
It looks like Andy's going to go to Kakariko first, using the south route. So what he's doing is he's just lifting up the bushes here to try and farm some bombs. He's going to want at least one bomb, possibly two bombs, so that he could open up the bomb hut in the southwest of Kakariko and farm bombs there. But he's just deciding to go through with one bomb instead.
Yes, there are two 50-50 bushes in that area that can contain a bomb.
And the racing game has more bombs. I doubt Andy will be going back for that.
No, it's far faster to just open up the farm hut.
Now Solski is now in Link to the Past, about 2 minutes behind Andy because he went out of his way for that Bomber's Medallion. And that Bomber's Medallion isn't going to come immediately in use for him. It could be the case that he could have picked up that Bomber's Medallion much later and in a much more convenient route through Green Brinstar, but we never know. And in the back of the...
We're not seeing any dark rooms today.
Well, to correct you there, we are going to be seeing all the dark rooms today.
As expected, Andy is going to just open up this farm hut. Very easy way to farm up your bomb count.
Solski picks up his gloves and he's safe from critting. And he's going to go this Sanctuary route.
Yeah, this is some of the earliest Death Mountain access I've seen. Because we have the two items.
Doesn't give us access to much of Death Mountain. It's basically going to be the old man, what he's holding, and what's inside Spectral Rock. If you find something else like the mirror or the hook shots, then that
and the first item in Upper Norfair in the high jump area.
Yes, of course. So to talk about the nature of the Super Metroid and Link to the Past Combo Randomizer, there are 4 doors in the game that will take you, 4 doors in each game that will take you from one game to the other. So one of the Lachlan just talked about is actually on Death Mountain. If you go to the cave in roughly the middle of Death Mountain, you actually pop out in Upper Norfair. What the two runners have done is taken the cave in Criteria and ends up in the Fortune Teller's hut southeast of Link's house. And there's 2 other doors in the game that will take you to various spots.
Meanwhile, In the well, Andy finds the cape, which might lead to Aghanim or to Bumper Ledge, and more importantly, the boots, to make this a faster seed.
Oh yes, both of these runners love their early
We also
boots.
had a bottle.
So yeah, that cape and Lamp is putting Aghanim unfortunately on the radar right now. They do still need some means of attacking Aghanim. Well, firstly they need a sword to cut through the curtain, reaching Aghanim,
That's
and
all
also
they.
to
That's all
affect
they
his
need.
balls. But yes, it is putting him on the table.
Although if no moon pearl, I would not want to do that. The ice rod. That's one of the items that killed Andy in the first game of this series.
Right, so that pretty much guarantees that Turtle Rock is a pendant, because I find that pretty much half the time with seeds where Turtle Rock is a crystal, you spend most of the late game just hunting down that ever-elusive ice rod. If you find it early, it's almost guaranteed that Turtle Rock is a pendant, because, you know, Randomizer is spiteful like that.
It is an evil, evil dungeon.
Oh, that's quite a lot of reserve tanks already. Another reserve tank at the mushroom spot in Lost Woods.
At that point, Andy no longer cares about reserve tanks. They just aren't as good as regular tanks.
Oh, there's a bugnet in the Thieves' Hideout in Lost Woods. You can use swag strats against Aghanim now. Won't actually get you in his room though.
Man, the tree poles and bush crabs are not being kind today. With so far, we've seen blue rupees, green rupees, and green rupees.
So Andy's probably feeling pretty worried about that Aghanim check right now, and we see that the Lumberjack is just holding some missiles, so we're not going to need Aghanim for that, luckily.
Nope, but there is still the possibility of Aghanim Darkwood access, or the extremely rare Aghanim Pyramid access.
And this is actually some nice routing for picking up those boots in Cat Creek and then going up to Lost Woods, because it means you can check out the Bone Crooks here, and then Andy can choose to go up to Death Mountain. So fairly efficient routing, although he is choosing to save and crit after Bone Crooks, just picking up that energy tank. It does get him to the Sanctuary Chest a bit faster, so to pick up that energy tank, so... and yeah, he's on his way to King's Tomb now. For first, we can check the back of Escape.
So he can't get into King's Tomb quite yet.
Oh yes, of course, you need the Titansmiths to lift up the rocks. Right, so, ooh, a hookshot, a mirror, and a map in the back of Escape. That's an extremely...
Well, we can go all over Death Mountain now.
Yep, it opens up Tower of Hair. And a tracker today, Link Force has already added on that Tower of Hair is a crystal, so can't complete it yet because we have no means of actually killing Moldorm up top. But just open up a bunch of items in there that we could check.
Yes, we need a sword or a hammer for Moldorm.
Nice use of the hookshot there to clip through that push block and open up the chest without having to make 2 visits into the dam to both pull the switch and check the chest.
Looks like neither runner wants the additional reserve tank in the forest.
And he does want the additional missiles though. I don't believe
After two Aghanim value seeds in a row, Andy is playing to the superstition of this series and is going for a 3-for-3 Aghanim value check.
They can't be the power gloves on Aghanim this time. Could be Titansmiths.
So you know, the gloves are progressive, so you know, saying whether or not it's the power gloves.
Yeah, true enough. And Spacer was on the Desert Lantern, which is a pretty decent find. It's pretty much your best defensive option outside of a plasma beam in terms of beams for Super Metroid, so it's well worth the couple of seconds it takes to dash over there and pick it up. Although Agano today only had a piece of heart. Solski gets a good look at those missiles at Lumberjack, and we'll see if he decides to go in the same Andy is gone, or if he decides to go up to Death Mountain first.
I still don't blame Andy for doing this South Shore check. There's still 5 chests in Mini Moldorm and another chest over in the Ice Rod Cave, and it's fast with the boots. But no, Solski's just going straight up the mountain. Did he even get the hook shot?
No, that was in the back of Escape, and he hasn't been there yet.
Ooh.
It's not so bad for him, because at least he's going to get the save point here, so it's something you'd have to do anyway.
Well, unfortunately, the Mini Moldorm Cave does not pay off today.
The old man has some super missiles, that's quite nice.
Today's stun prize is just a heart. But in some situations that can be some clutch healing.
Yeah, and he's on his way to Ice Rod Cave, and whilst this is fairly inconvenient and out of the way, even if you're checking Mini Moldorm, the boots make this a lot easier. Oh, he gets bullied by the crab there and loses most of his health. Inside Spectacle is some missiles, and in the Ice Cave is the Ice Beam. Who would have thought?
It's like a French vanilla. So we see Solski making these quick check into the upper north area through the mountain. We see a missile and Shacktool escape. And Andy set up a water walk glitch. Which will let him check this waterfall cave out of logic. He won't be rewarded for it, but it's checked.
And normally, if you were just to do a, I call it ordinary, but it's not that ordinary, a water walking trick to get to the waterfall cave, you'd actually need the moon pearl to get to the items inside. But with water walking, like Andy's doing, you can get to the items anyway.
Now we can check the hobo item, and then from there, most likely save and quit, and then head up Death Mountain himself.
Solski is about to get his main hookshots for having found nothing in Death Mountain or and he may just decide to save and quit and go straight back to Death Mountain again.
Well, Andy has something in mind.
Maybe not. He's checked the save and quit. For a moment there, I thought he was going to take the ladder up and check out Shahazrala.
Solski realizing he does not have the key for the back of escape. Dark Cross chest will have to be approached from the front.
And quite predictably, Solski has gone back to Death Mountain to check out the east side now, and Andy is on his way up. We've seen quite similar routing between two runners so far. The only difference really is that Solski spent a couple minutes getting a Bomber's Medallion from Blue Brinstar in Super Metroid.
Well, Andy did the South Shore route.
Yes, that's why the runners have come pretty close now because, now that Renset's laser beam on the desert ledge redundant. There's the plasma beam in the bottom of Paradox Cave. But yes,
it's most likely not going to be progression, but it's always welcome. Although there is one room in the game where it can be progression.
There's
Quake
the
Medallion.
Quake Medallion. Yeah.
And our Mordorm killing weapon.
Also, Aghanim killing weapon. Please no.
Well, let's see when we find the thing. Unfortunately for Andy, it looks like he is checking out. Oh wait, nope, he has changed his mind. He is going to the Lower Norfair? Upper Norfair portal?
Yeah, I think he decided it was a bit more appealing for him to check out these 2 or 3 items first before going into Tower of Hare and potentially checking out the basement, which is fairly lengthy to do given the tower room there.
Oh, and he doesn't kill the little spiky guy quite in time.
So a popular strategy for this room is that you have to jump down into the bottom there and kill the, I believe the enemy is called a Nova there, really quickly so they can unlock the door to get out. If you're too slow, you have to wait here for quite some time for the Nova to walk around all of the walls and get back up here so you can kill it and get out.
Meanwhile, in Spiral Cave, we just got the spring ball on Solski's side.
Looks like Solski is going to Tower of Hare himself.
Well, with it being a crystal dungeon and fully completable, yep, Total Lock is a pendant confirmed. Skullwoods is our third
Always
one.
happens. Always happens. No, other pendant was at Skullwoods, like I said, so everything else is a crystal.
That means we may not need the fire rod of the seed. We already have the torch for fire source purposes. It may be logically required if we have to go to right side Ganon's Tower, but it is still possible to do with just a lamp.
Solski picks up the big key on the first floor of Tower of Hare, so he's not going to have to go in the basement just yet. It's quite unfortunate, actually, given that the fire rod is not mandatory for this seed. I've only seen one other race before where the fire rod was not mandatory, and in that race, the runners just incidentally picked it up on their way to the big key in Ganon's Tower anyway, so I've yet to see an actual seed finished without the fire rod, and there's a speed booster in the top of Tower of Hare. So we're going to be going fast in both games now.
But fast movement doesn't mean it'll be a jet seed. There can always be a silly location. See, the floating island is just a heart container. Probably won't get picked up unless this is a really health-starved seed.
Solski is now taking on Mordor. He's just done damage to him that Mordor will be getting into the first state here, and Solski actually got out that cape and thought about using the cape to just avoid any accidental getting pushed off the platform, but he managed to dash through Mordor anyway and get the kill. So there's a small key drop.
The key to Mordor's basement.
And I don't believe we've seen both the map and the compass yet, so either one of those are going to be in the basement, and Solski is probably just going to skip it.
Well, Andy heads to Tower of Hare. Wolfman asks if you can reach Green Brimstone with just a speed booster. No. No, the transition from pink to green Brimstone requires a morph ball. And okay, by the green Brimstone between the Red Tower, the part that's just left of criteria, you can get there, so we can go see the Mock Ball room for early supers. Solski is giving us an escape check.
There's a escape small key, so could be an item lurking in Dark Forest. We have picked up the map.
For the record, it was a map or compass locked in the Mordorm's basement, so Solski did not skip anything.
So now Andy is facing off against Mordorm. Solski managed to avoid any potential trolls, even though Mordorm got into his fast state, which I don't think is actually it's possible to avoid the fast state with just the fighter sword. You need a better weapon for that usually, at least as far as I'm aware. So one more spin takes out Mordorm in his fast state, and neither Andy or Solski get trolled today. Solski's taking that key straight over to the dark crossroom in Escape. There is an item lurking down there. Might be necessary, might not be anything.
Well, from this approach, we don't need the key. You'll need the key if you're coming in from the rear end, or if you don't have gloves and want to get to the back.
Ah, there's a Master Sword there.
It's an excellent find. Andy is going into the basement, although we saw him grab a speed booster and a piece of heart. He's going to be very unhappy with himself, I imagine.
Yeah, this is the... Solski spent 2 minutes down in Blue Brinstar picking up that Bomber's Medallion, and Andy's going to waste about a minute here checking out this room for pretty much nothing. So this, although it looks like Solski's ahead right now, it's actually more like it's closing up the gap between them.
Solski is going to go ahead and get his South Shore activity done.
And there's a map for it. Kind of goes to his menu a bit in the slight frustration.
I can feel his frustration. Well, he's had it. This is his 6th day in a row of tournament races. Because he's also in the Link to the Past Fall tournament.
Yes. If he wants to avoid a race today, he should have won both of his games here. But nope, Solski won the first game, so Andy's subjecting himself to another day of racing. Solski also making the choice to go over to Agner before checking too much else. I mean, I don't blame him at all. Now, using that speed booster, we can get over to the top portion of Green Brinstar through Criteria, but we've got access to most of Eastern Palace right now, especially that lamp. But we're kind of running out of items to check, and we've got everything we need to take on Agner map mode, so...
Solski is doing a Houlihan room check, a Houlihan room trick to get Zora money. This room does exist in Vanilla Link to the Past. So the game puts you when it doesn't know where you should go.
And in this particular method to get to it, we are using Solski uses a bomb to displace a sprite on the map, because the game relies on the pitfalls, like that hole, being in specific locations on your game screen. And if you do something like use a bomb to displace your sprite, you're actually falling into a different location than where the game thinks you're falling into. So the game gets confused by that and defaults to putting in the Houlihan room, where you can pick up a bunch of rupees.
Andy is heading to the Dark Crossroom himself. He'll get his Master Sword there. And the runners will be mostly tied up in positioning, although Solski will have that Bombos advantage, which is probably more important than Andy's Tower of Hera map.
Yeah, at the moment with no Morph Ball, that Bomber's Medallion is looking quite a bit more tasty for Solski right now, because if you were to go through Green Brinstar, you can't actually get down to the part where you could get the Bomber's Medallion through Blue Brinstar. So The logic today might be relying on you going down the old turn shaft and picking up that bomber's medallion. We don't know yet. It's kind of going to be depending on where that where some power bombs are and where the morph ball is, because we haven't seen either of those yet.
Until we find an additional glove, a moon pool, and some flippers, that Bombus won't be coming into much play. Unless it's, part of some other convoluted train into Misery Mire or Total Rock. Either way, they need more stuff.
So Andy's giving us our first look at the back of Shashka's hut and finds some cash, and 10 bombs. Not useful. Now, Solski has just taken the whirlpool back. He's not choosing to go pay the Kingfish just yet.
He's doing the same trip to the hobo that Andy did earlier.
So Andy taking out Eastern Pass now. He's not going to be able to finish it because we don't have a bow for the Amos Knights or even to get to the Amos Knights. But he's going to be able to check out most of the items in here.
Start out with an early big key. If the next 3 chests all have items in them, we could have the mythical skipping that one darkroom section to get to the vanilla big key location.
There's your first item, an energy tank. And now Solski's making his way back to King Sora.
This guy certainly have a lot of Super Metroid health already. The only items in Super Metroid have been checked are the 2 items early in Blue Brinstar and the 1 item in the first part of Hydra Imperia of Upper Norfair.
Second item is 5 missiles.
So if this big chest has an item, Andy can just immediately nope out. Unless it's the bow, then he can finish.
Ooh, and King Sora is just a scam today. 10 hours for the price of 500 rupees, and that is a map in the big chest. So Andy's on his way to the dark rooms.
I've heard Andy remark in the past that this is one of his least favorite dungeons because he almost never gets to skip this room he's heading towards.
And it looks like Solski is hot on his heels, also going over to Eastern Palace. So we've either got one more item here or we've got the compass, and it's not going to be particularly pleasant if it is the compass. It's just 5 missiles. So Eastern Palace is a dud.
Looks like Andy is taking that speed booster into Super Metroid. I imagine he'll do the speed booster stuff before he heads towards the Bombos area. And it is interesting to note that we still don't have any power bombs.
6 energy tanks plus some reserve tanks, 50 missiles, 2 super missile packs, and Andy thinks for a moment of going to check out the bomb tweeter, but no morph ball yet.
Now he was just preparing his short charge to get across the gap.
Of course, yeah.
Early tempered sword, alright.
Yeah, Tempered Sword is really nice to get, especially this early in the race, but it's not progress at this point. We're looking for progress, something to avoid that Aghanim play at the moment.
You know, it is possible that the item on that Aghanim could be the play. It doesn't have to be Moonpool on the ledge. It could be a Morph Ball on Pyramid Ledge. Or a Book of Medora on the ledge.
Yeah, many possible options for it. None of it are particularly appealing because they all involve Aghanim. So Andy's making his way into early supers now. And he can actually do this intended way using the speed booster to get through that room. You cannot check out the other item behind the Chozo statue there because no morph ball.
You know, with this ice beam... Oh, there's the bow. He can finish Eastern, although it's just a crystal, so it's not progression. You know, with this ice beam, they might be able to climb Red Tower through the Norfair side.
Indeed they can, and that's kind of the method you'd use to get through the Red Tower in the vanilla game if you were just playing it casually and you didn't know all the Super Metroid tricks, so you can't get up there without the ice beam. So yeah, that's going to be a bit of a sore bow for both Solski and Andy. It's nice to get it so early on, particularly with a Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace Crystal, but they are both making the rather unnecessary Eastern Palace double dip, and they're not going to get anything in here worth. So there, there's
Moonpool. He's
Moonpool for Andy.
definitely climbing out. Aghanim is now access to Palace of Darkness. Which is a 5/6 crystal, so that is the only reason why we would want Aghanim now, is for that Palace of Darkness, Dark World access. Whereas the Pyramid Fairy cannot be the Aghanim locked.
Well, Andy's making his way out of Brinstar. Solski is on his way over to there.
The first item is not in logic. They have no way to get out. The person in chat who is asking. But finding both that Moonpool and that bow there could lead Andy to think that it's time to kill Aghanim and go straight to Palace of Darkness. You can do everything in there except clear it without the hammer.
He's going to go pick up his Bombers Battalion first, is he? No, he's just leaving.
No, I think he's thinking it's time to go kill Aghanim. And actually, yeah, that is, unless I'm mistaken, that's all that's available right now. Besides, I guess, ice beaming up that tower, but... There is a way to use the speed booster to get into the Terminator room without short charge, but short charge is actually much easier to pull off. Because I see chat asking.
I have seen Speed Booster logically required to get into Green Brinstar to pick up your items before. And the tournament is running on normal mode logic, so a trick like the short charge isn't required. So, like you mentioned, you can get over to that section without a short charge, but the short charge is far more convenient.
And it's just much easier to set up the short charge.
Yes, indeed. But then I've seen some tricky logical leaps, like say using springboard jumps to get over to Rex's ship from the moat, and that actually being logically required for progression, which is actually very difficult for some of our runners to have to try and do. So whilst this isn't hard mode logic, it can throw up some particular quirks like that. So Solski picks up his Moonpow and is immediately on his out of Brinstar. So it's fair to say that Solski is about 2 minutes behind Andy at this point, but he does have that Bombers Battalion, and given that we're going to be going into Dark World without the Morph Ball, or much of a means of getting through Super Metroid, that Bombers Battalion could be leading us into, say, Ice Palace, or possibly Missumai, possibly Turtle Rock, picking up something there. I have seen the Morph Ball inside Turtle Rock before, and it's never pleasant when it's there. But,
oh, absolutely.
But that Bombers Battalion could be quite critical at this point. We just have to wait and see.
But for Bombos to To even have a chance at relevance, we need a Titan's Mitt, and then either the Flippers, Hammer, or Flute. For Ice Palace, Totorock, and Mizumaya, respectively.
Nice use of the hookshot there to get some speed off the stairs and get up to those curtains just a bit quicker. Alright, Aghanim. So, something that's going to be the same for these two runners is a particular quirk in Aghanim's spells. And
Oh, that's only in Link to the Past Randomizer. That was a
my
small
mistake.
sacrifice that was a small sacrifice they had to make for this combo rando.
Okay, so this could actually come down to who's lucky blue balls here on Aghanim. So that's 2 blue balls already. First cast he does once he starts the fight or after lightning spell is always going to be a regular projectile. Like
It's 4 for Andy.
Yep, and we get another spot of lightning. And down goes Aga 1, but Solski is halfway up Aga tab. He's not far behind. Right, so Andy's our first one in the Dark World in Links to the Past. On the pyramid, he finds some super missiles.
We have no charge beam, so every super missile pack is wanted.
Something to note about the logic for Super Metroid is that the charge beam is always required to complete the game, because the particular thing about Ridley and Mother Brain is that they have no way to farm missiles or super missiles from them. So the game thinks you're going to run dry on missiles if you're taking them on, and so expects you to have the charge beam so you can still hurt them. So logically, we're required to have the charge beam, but in practice, we can actually just pick up so many super missiles that we can just kill Ridley and Mother Brain regardless.
Looks like Andy's heading towards the catfish. He may mirror to Zora, but that will leave him with needing to farm rupees to get into pod.
Yeah, and he only has 504 rupees, so paying off the King Zora will only get him, well, we'll leave him with just 4 rupees, and to pay Kiki Monkey needs 10 rupees to get him to follow you, and then 100 rupees to actually open the door to the Palace of Darkness. So I haven't seen Andy take a save and quit, so if he didn't like what he saw on the King Zora, he could just hard reset and go back into Link to the Past and get his money back, but he hasn't taken a save yet, so it's going to be a loss either way. And wooden sticks for Andy, and Solski is just about to face off against Aghanim himself. He's already paid off Zora, so he can just go straight to Palace of Darkness if he decides not to go to Catfish first.
Andy is heading back towards his portal. I wonder if he realizes what his rupee count is.
I think he probably knows, and I think
he has the hook shot. He can just go west.
Yeah, indeed. He can just forego going to Palace of Darkness for now. Ooh, Solski's down to half a heart on Aghanim. He must have taken some hits somewhere. And he's actually using the cape to avoid any blue balls accidents. But he takes down Aghanim.
Blue ball accidents are an easy way to lose health.
So Andy, with that mirror in hand, is going to check out the King's Tomb now. And he finds a heart container, and we've actually got less health in Link to the Past now than we do in Super Metroid, which is really, really unusual.
Yeah, this sort of health level, our container is a welcome sight.
So Solski, having a lot more money than Andy, is headed over to Paths of Darkness himself. And with that bow and the lamp, he can clear out quite a good portion of it, but he doesn't have the hammer to finish it.
And he picks up a big 20 in the Poe ledge in the graveyard. Normally you'd skip picking up big 20s, but he needs chest game money. So we have some interesting divergence here. Solski finding the space jump.
That is a very delicious find for Super Metroid, but it doesn't really get us anywhere at the moment. We don't need, like, it puts places like the top of criteria in logic, but we don't even have the multiple power bombs to get into the door beyond there and check out the items, so it doesn't really come in use right now.
Interestingly enough, we see some super missiles on the Bumper Cave ledge, but Andy decides they are not worth getting.
And there's plenty more isolated item checks he can make to probably incidentally pick up super missiles, or possibly the Charge Beam and make all those super missiles redundant. Not strictly redundant, because using super missiles on, for example, Ridley is a much faster way of killing him than just with charge shots, but...
True, but getting to Bumper Cave is one of the more time-consuming checks to do. And looks like Solski accidentally hit his mirror. The Path of Darkness, having thought he had bombs already selected.
It happens. Ooh, flippers in Skull Woods.
I just put all that Zora nonsense they did into logic. It didn't pay off for them, but it's in logic now. It also means we're minutes away from Ice Palace access.
They're either going to need the mitts to get into Ice Palace, or they're going to need the hammer to get into Swamp Palace, because that is also almost in logic. Now, technically, they can check out the first item in Swamp Palace without the hammer, but then if that's not the hammer itself, which has happened, then they're not going to be able to get anywhere. I think it was you, actually, who experienced a hammer in the first chest.
Yes, and Andy was commentating and called it would be hammer when I watched the replay of the video. When I found it in there, it was great. So we got some blue mail for Andy in the chest game. So far, the pod hasn't paid off for Solski, but we're in the treasure section now. The first section, it's almost all small keys. Because the game assumes you use your small keys in the worst possible way.
As the Shades likes to put it, business in the front, party in the back. There are 3 more chests available to Solski, and then he is out of Paths of Darkness. So he's picked up the compass there, and I don't think he's picked up the map yet, so it could be in one of these chests.
Still got 3 items in here. Oh, the mitt! Value in Palace of Darkness. If he gets those flippers, he can take Bombos to ice. He can't clear it without the hammer, though.
And there's the map, so there's going to be one more item on Helmsol. So it's going to be another double dip bow dungeon, but the Titan Smiths is a much worthier dip than what was lurking in Eastern Palace, which was nothing. Solski is actually going to finish off Eastern now whilst he's in the area. It's a crystal, so he's got to do it sometime. Might as well do it now.
Doing this can give him some time to think about where he wants to out next.
So speaking of areas where runners can't get to without the hammer, there is one chest in the bottom of Thief's Town here which is locked by the hammer, but Anti has just found the hammer itself in the top of Thief's Town, so he can get to it now. He's just made my entire statement redundant. Never mind.
That was actually the fire rod.
Oh yeah, the fire rod. What am I talking about?
You can get into the Skullwoods backpack part now. And we're getting Samaria away from, and the hammer from being able to do pendant to the rock.
Disgusting. But yes, that fire rod is so disgusting in terms of dependent turtle rock, it just completely threw me off and made me call the wrong one. That's got to be it.
Completely understandable mistake.
I refuse to acknowledge its existence, like Shaktul.
Well, it still could be logically required in Ganon's tower, so...
Solski picks up his compass from Armor's Knights, but more importantly, his second crystal. Rental agents offer quarters for dollars.
This also means that the Bombos is not going to be required for Ice Palace.
No sign of that morph ball yet, though. We may be needing it to get into Turtle Rock or Mizumaya. We don't know yet.
Unfortunately, Andy is leaving an item behind in that big chest of Thieves' Town. Solski is heading straight to Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave.
It's a quite reasonable place to make, and you can also check out the Turtle Rock Medallion Rusties here to see if that Bombus play was a good choice or not. Andy's going for some money farming here. It's a strategy you usually only see in the Link to Past Randomizer in Inverted, where you start off in the Dark World and you need the Moon Power to access areas in the Light World, so given how you've got much less chests in the Dark World to get to, you often have to do some money farming, and the arrow game there being your best source. But Andy just wanted a quick top up to do the digging game here.
And make sure he still has enough for Pod. We get Morphball bombs in Super Bunny Cave, which, given that we haven't found any power bombs yet, could be important.
Of course, we're going to need a morph ball to actually use them. And the multiple bombs put a lot of infinite bomb jumps in logic, but given how Solski has the space, the infinite bomb jumps are completely redundant now.
I don't think we're going to see those given that he has a space jump, but...
Wave beam in here.
Some nice, and silver arrows. We got some nice damage boosts in there.
Yeah, and a heart container, because we're lacking those right now. Bee in a bottle from Stumpy.
Looks like Solski is heading his way towards the catfish.
And Andy's meanwhile checking out the much more lucrative hype cave. First item is a reserve tank. I think that's either a third or fourth reserve tank. Another empty tank. Some power bombs finally, and 300 rupees.
Well, first power bombs, that's... well, it's okay, I guess. But without a morph ball, you know, I can't give that hype cave a very high rating. Maybe 3 out of 10? At the deductor point for the reserve tank, of course. Andy is making the hammer and swamp check.
He's taking a page out of your book here.
Well, you know, when it works really well.
And when it doesn't work, it's 99% of the time it doesn't. It's a giant waste of time.
Well, it's not that big, since he's already in the area. You know, it's not that big of a time loss. Especially since he has Mio to easily escape. It was a waste of time today, however. But he has plenty of money, so he can head into Pod and he can get his Titan's mitts.
Meanwhile, Solski's doing some of the checks that Andy already did on his trip through to the village of outcasts.
Indeed, we're going to have a slight crossover as they each check things the other did. One difference may be that Solski could check the Smith chain.
Depending on where he goes, he may pick up that firewood from Town first, and inside he wants to go clear Skullwoods for that pendant. Not that he needs a pendant, because we know there's going to be... we don't know if there's going to be nothing on pedestal just yet. So yeah, he is in the village of outcasts first, so he's probably going to dip into Town, clear it out, and get that firewood. So unlike a lot of Paths of Darkness you tend to see in the tournaments lately, no border glitch necessary here. We actually have the bow going into Paths of Darkness, which is kind of rare these days. Still can't complete Paths of Darkness because we don't have the hammer, but it's a little things. So yeah, Solski heading into Town now, whilst Andy is halfway through Paths of Darkness.
It is possible that Solski will get, even after he gets the Firelord, will continue to go south and do the Smith loop, which could delay him getting flippers this seed. Which, thanks to Pendant Swamp, are 100% required.
And there's quite a good chance that he is going to check out Skullwoods, because if he finds like a map and compass in the front, then the back is much more appealing to check now that he's got the front forward. But we know it's not quite the map and compass in the front, because the flippers were there. Anyway, let's see. Oh, I missed that mushroom earlier in the front of Town. So that's another potential check.
like Andy will be attempting a hammer jump.
Gets it in very little time. You have to place yourself quite precisely to get to yourself clipping into that barrier and then walk through the barrier to be able to check out the chest. It doesn't save that much time in regular randomizer as opposed to key sanity. It's much more of a key sanity.
No, but it still looks really cool.
Oh yes. And it does save a little bit of time if you can pull it off. It's just strictly unnecessary in this randomizer. But in key sanity, yeah, it's a really, really good trick to learn. Alright, and he has cleared out Palace of Darkness now to the best of his ability. And, yep, he's going to go into Eastern Palace and finish it off just like Solski.
So we still have a bit more of covering each other's ground, although soon Solski will kill Blind off, then we'll see which way he goes. To Skull Woods or to Smith Chain.
It's quite difficult to say who's in the lead here at this point. Even in the, if Solski decides to not go for the fifth push, it definitely puts Andy at a bit of an advantage, but with not many places to go, I imagine Solski will be going for that Skull Woods before doing the Smith's Chain, simply because of the routing convenience. But you never know.
It's low on health there on Blind, but pulls it out.
So that's 3 crystals for Solski, and Andy's very shortly about to get his own 3rd crystal. Solski is choosing to go to the south first to do that digging game and probably pick up the smith afterwards. I suppose he can do the Smith's Chain and then just leave the purple chest behind and go to Skull Woods after, and then maybe pick up purple after that, but
There's also that red tower check they could make.
Andy getting Solski getting quite a few shovel bonks there, but he picks up his 20 rupees and he's out. Andy takes 2 save and crits there. A little bit indecisive on where to go.
He'll be getting his wave beam and silvers and morph ball bombs up here. With 1 power bomb pack, if we get morph balls soon, those regular bombs will still be quite valuable, as they'll let you save your power bombs for the places that actually need them.
So what are our blacksmiths forging today? A morph ball.
Well, Andy had better go grab that soon, or else he could be in trouble. Solski will finish off this purple chest check, and he'll probably do Hype Cave by managing it straight to Super Metroid. Once those are finished.
It's kind of good and bad for Solski, because now with that morph ball, it's going to disincentivize Skull going into Skull Woods, because he's now got a lot of Super Metroid available to him.
case anyone didn't catch it earlier, the medallion for Total Lock was safe. So we still don't have the medallion to get in there, even if we had the hammer.
Alright, and he has his brave and silver arrows now. Where is he headed from here?
I believe Andy is going to do a mushroom check.
Right, yes,
he just
the mushroom
saved
check.
it quick, so we can quickly turn that in. And if he doesn't like what he gets, he can hard reset. Thereby preserving the possibility of a fake powder.
Solski retrieving his purple chest from Hype Cave and is now on his way to the retired thief. And
Blue boomerang, and he finds that to be acceptable.
inside the purple chest was just 300 rupees.
It would appear Andy is going for the Ice Palace play, which unfortunately will not lead him to the Morph Ball.
And Solski is setting up a fake flipper here, so he can also go hand in his mushroom. It looks like he's going to restock his potions whilst he's here too. He has got one blue, but his second bottle had a bee in, so he's just going to pick up another blue potion for the road. First item in... Sorry.
Big 20. 2 to go. My apologies.
Alright, Solski is back on Death Mountain now. Where is he going to go from here? Into Super Metroid. So the next item in the high top boots area was a big 20. And, oh, there's the powder. So, no fake powder required.
Excellent.
Andy drops a bomb for some reason in the middle of the after the Ice Palace bomb jump.
Well, you hovered it. You dropped the bomb to honor the bomb jump tradition.
I only usually see people dropping excess bombs when they're on the way to the randomizer room in Ganon's tower. Well, Andy does not go for the stairs clip there. A very new trick where it saves you all of about 1 second, 2 seconds. You can just clip through that barrier on the stairs and just go straight down. Ooh, but he does pull off a hover and then decides to jump in the pit anyway because, I don't know. He's on his way to Cold Stair. But he can't get to Cold Stair because no hammer, so he's just going to go up the stairs here through and make his way backwards through the big key door. Solski is in Crumble Tower in Upper Norfair. You see some power bombs. He's going to pick up those power bombs.
Fortunately, he has plenty of E-tanks, so spending a little bit of health in this hell gun is not really an issue.
Yeah, How often is it that you see 9 energy tanks just hour into a combo race? Not very often.
90 tanks before you get your mothball.
Yeah, Solski's not doing any hell dives down to Krokema, he's just on his way out of North. Although he's got a lot of energy to get to Krokema quite safely, it's out of logic, and I don't think he really wants to. But what we can do instead is go take on Kraid.
Something you have to do every seed, no matter what. Might as well knock it out when you can.
And you can get plenty of quick checks done over here whilst you're in the area where it's taking you really no time at all. It's a very good place to check out when you can.
Alright, so we don't get anything especially valuable in the Ice Palace. And he saves and quits in the Light World. He's going to do something on Death Mountain.
Probably
You might be making that red tower check. Yes, it will unfortunately delay his morph ball access.
Yes. You also can't ever get over to Kraid like Solski's doing. So Solski's taking on Kraid now. His objective is going to be getting a quick kill he gets. Got to open up Kraid's mouth and get as many super missiles into him as quickly as possible. It's very, very tight on the frames. And if you miss it, some runners like to call it taking Kraid to the prom, some call him standing up, some just throw their heads up in dismay, but all we know is that he stands up and takes a little longer to kill. So one more item to check out in Kraid's lair here, which is E-Tank, which the room unlocked after you beat Kraid. And today it's just missiles.
Well, this red tower play isn't going to lead to the morph. Andy is making very quick work out of it. And then he managed to fall through the hole.
You just had to jinx it, didn't you?
Yep, it's the old commentator's curse.
Here's the first check that Solski can do that Andy's had to miss out on, which is the Spacer Beam up here. And today it's Power Bombs. Not too bad.
And the red tower has super missiles.
I missed what Andy picked up there, but he cannot check the other item behind it because no morph ball to break the wall behind it.
Just some super missiles.
Solski's going for an energy refill here. Interesting.
Looks like Andy will take the criteria portal into the light world from here.
So thanks to that morph ball, Solski can also check out the X-ray room here. I'm actually curious why he topped up his energy. I don't think he's going to be taking that energy to go to hell dives with, but he doesn't need it for the X-ray room because he can just jump across with the space jump. So just 10 hours in X-ray.
And he's now gonna get his Bombos medallion.
So Solski is also going up Red Tower rather than proceeding into the main part of Brinstar.
Yes, but from here he can go to X ship.
You can also get a few more items that Andy's had to skip out on. So Solski picks up his supers from vanilla power bombs, and behind it is a grapple beam.
Well, with space jump, the grapple beam only unlocks one thing.
And I don't like to talk about that thing.
It is also helpful when farming up before Ridley.
Oh yes.
And for murdering Jagon.
So Solski picks up another energy tank because we already have an excess of health compared to Link to Bust, so why not more? So now Andy's back in Link to Past, and he's probably going to think about doing the Smith's Chain, or maybe other things that he's missed out on doing so far.
Ambitious Smith Chain is all he's missed out on for the Light World.
And he can also go back into Skull Woods if he so chooses, but I reckon he's probably going to do Smith's Chain.
See Solski heading towards the wrecked ship. Will this be the day that the curse is broken and there is some sort of progression after Phantoon? I really doubt it.
The wreck ship in the tournament so far, from my experience, has really been sweet and sour. It's often quite sour with no items inside, and other times it's been very, very sweet with a ton of items inside, particularly hookshots.
There's been plenty of value on this stuff before Phantoon. You know, we got the moat, the undersea item, the item in that one area you can bomb before Phantoon, but for all the races I've commentated and played this tournament, anything past Phantoon, not progression. See Solski showing off some mad spring ball jumping.
I mean, his springboard is absolutely great for mad jumps and other. Hey, where are you going, Solski? Okay, he's going to do was going to do a mock ball instead, but needs to bomb over the blocks with bombs anyway, so he just kind of went to left for no reason. But no matter.
And with his colossal collection of energy tanks, even with no suits, Phantoon should be no problem.
Still gonna have to take him out the slow way with ordinary missiles though. No charge beam to make use of that wave and ice and plasma. If you're lucky enough to have the charge beam and the X-ray scope, you can even X-ray Phantoon. It's not something you see very often.
So Andy is now in Link to the Past, Super Metroid, but he's making some different checks than Solski did. Getting the criteria power bomb check. And gets the charge beam. So Andy is going to have a 4-beam combo. Andy has super missiles for Headley anyways. Meanwhile, Solski finishes off a Phantoon. Still over half of his health left. TK Kitty, it's hard to say who's ahead right now. You know what? We're ahead. We, the people watching this amazing race, are ahead.
Yes, we have so much more knowledge than these two runners. Solski could be thinking he's behind right now, but actually, he's not really behind. He's got a 2 Super Metroid bosses advantage on Andy right now.
As Andy has the Charger Beam and Flippers.
Indeed, and it could be any amount of time until Solski gets over to Scarwoods and gets those flippers. I don't think he's going to be putting off the charge beam for very long, because after he's done the Vex ship, he's likely to head over to the ship and do the top of Criteria and Gauntlet and everything else Andy's doing right now.
Good thing Andy has a lot of health, because he's taking some acid damage here.
Solski taking the save there in Vex ship because he's on his way to this spiky room of death. It involves spikes, it often involves deaths if you have a lack of defensives and energy tanks. But given that Solski has a space jump, is mostly cake rather than death. But one item behind you, if it's not useful to Solski, he's probably just going to reset the game and go back to that save room.
And Andy makes it through the gauntlet, exhausting his many energy tanks.
He's got reserves. Actually, we've had at least three reserve tanks this seed so far. I think we might have even had all 4.
So Andy is going to check the Bryn Star area.
And we've already seen part of this. It's where we had to get our it was where our moon part was in the just above the charge beam, but there's quite a few more items down here that we can now check thanks to having that morph ball. So, hey, there's a hammer there.
Ooh, that makes this coming back for these items. You know, when you've already been this way once and gotten half of this stuff with your speed booster, you may be thinking that, you know, there's many other checks to make. So that could play to Andy's favor.
It's kind of dependent on how on what Solski decides to route in, and if he decides he's just going to, say, skip this and try and go mode something else, or just check out a crystal dungeon in Link to the Past because it's easier and more convenient. But that kind of play is what cost Solski the previous race, as far as I know, so he may be feeling a bit ambivalent about that. And Andy sees a Cane of Samaria above near the Yatakuns in Green Prince Star.
Well, fortunately for him, we don't have Ether, so Total Lock is still off the table.
Now, given the excess of energy that Andy has, he could actually get over to Mizumaya right now. Not in logic, because it does require a Hell Dive, but he could well indeed decide to go make a very painful dive into Ridley's lair and take the door into the Mizumaya swamp area.
That seems excessively risky, considering that he may still need Ether for Maya as well. Speaking of Ether, we have found it in the wrecked ship area. So, you know, if there's something in Total Lock, then we have progression after Phantom. Otherwise, the curse is still in effect.
So Solski gets his first well-deserved coffee break of the seed after in 1 hour 20 minutes in. So in terms of items we're looking to complete the seed so far, we may need the flute if we can't get to Mizumaya through Ridley's Lair. Ridley's Lair requires us to have the Varia and Gravity suit in logic to get that.
We could also let us get to Italy with just a various suit. Because
You
the
can.
portal in Maya, you only need the gravity suit to get into Lower Norfair through Metroid. After that, you don't need it.
Yes, if we find the flute somewhere else, we can just take the Varia suits into North and get to Ridley that way.
The one thing Andy hasn't found with his Brinstar routing is more power bombs, so he's making excellent use of those regular bombs. Save as many as possible. Oh, a screw attack! Next ship. Not gonna be progression in the seed, but man, is that nice to have.
Especially for Ridley's Lair that I've just been talking about. And he also just picked up the red mail before that, so Red Ship mostly non-progression items, except maybe that Ether Medallion, but still kind of paid off, really. Those are all really nice items to have.
And he may want to turn his reserves into real energy.
Yeah, it still interrupts his Shine Spark, even though he dipped into his reserves there, so he's got to go in again. And all he gets for that...
is going to get his charge beam.
And all Andy got for that was just 5 missiles.
Solski is heading for the gauntlet, so there's a decent chance of getting his hammer and red cane soon. Assuming he follows through down to the Brinstar.
Ooh, first try on breaking the super missile block there on Andy's side. Nicely done.
It's rewarded with some vanilla super missiles.
So no super missile shenanigans necessary here. We have the wave beam. We can just do this and get into this room the way the game devs intended. And we do get some power bombs there.
There'll certainly be a fellow fan who wishes to go into Retro Brinstar to check out Billy Mays.
So Solski gets his hammer as well, and this puts him in a very good spot, but he's still lacking those flippers that Andy got in Skullwoods.
Andy takes a small bit of damage.
Ooh,
hey, a
there's
flute!
a flute. Yeah, luckily nothing here in Blue Brinstar is particularly damaging past the side hoppers. The Geemers and the flying mosquito things do very little damage, but I forget how much damage the rocks do just outside Billy Mays. I don't think they would be particularly healthy to Andy right now. He's going to have to be careful.
Meanwhile, Solski is getting through his Akun area, collects his Cane of Samaria.
And and he gets into Billy May's room without too much trouble, and he finds explosives for both games, neither of which are useful to him. Just some more missiles in the Alpha missile spot in Blueprint Star.
And he is heading up towards the Old Mother Brain missiles, but although he does not have the health to do the Criteria Super Shaft.
Yeah, he doesn't really get any energy drops from the pirates there, except for a little bit that dips him in back into his first energy tank. But if he wants to go check out Soft Supers, he's going to have to farm health, or just go back to the ship and refill everything. So yeah, Andy is just skipping right by that because he knows he doesn't have the health to go check it out. A bit of a lie, actually. He could check it out just by space jumping up there and then shooting the wave beam through the floor to see what the item is, but he wouldn't be able to grab it if he wanted it.
Pretty sure that item is always visible. So we don't need the wave beam, but
Okay.
we see we got Big 20 and the 230 missiles. You still may check out the bomb to Ezo before heading to the ship.
Now, both Solski and Andy have wolf bombs by now, so we're going to get an additional boss fight here. So you don't get to see too often. And when you do get to see it, it's up for very little time because the Bomb Chorizo is a very weak boss. The game expects you to be doing him with just like 5 or 10 missiles or so in the vanilla game, and here you can just kind of shoot him with one charge or then kill him in one hit.
Yes, the full power beam who just tears that thing apart.
So Solski's also headed back into Blueprint, and he's going to pick up his flute here. So he's really following in Andy's footsteps all the way in Super Metroid for the last 15 minutes or so.
And he elects not to save. I guess he's feeling healthy enough that it's not any real risk.
Yeah, Vantoon with 9 energy tanks and about 2 or 3 reserves is no threat at all. But Andy's headed back into Red Sapphires to get the items that he missed out on his first trip through here. So it's a bit of a time loss for him. I think he will pick up his Ether medallion down here, if I remember correctly. So that's something.
Was after Vantoon, actually.
Oh right, after Vantoon. Okay.
This was, I believe, like an E-tank and some power bombs. Now, Solski does have enough health to check Criteria Supers.
Ah, yes, it was the grapple beam. Of course I would forget what that item was.
Ah, yes. the beam that lets you go to Shack Tool, and then be nice to him and not kill him.
So, as you mentioned, Solski does have enough health to check out the Shaft Supers here. He has an even more disgusting amount of health than health and energy tanks than Andy has. And he can also get across those jumping slime monsters much easier with the Ice Beam. But I find that Shaft Supers are regular missiles.
Yep. So it looks like that's not going to hurt Andy too much. And he gets sight of the Ether Medallion. Since we don't know what we need from Maya, it's going to be worth him picking this up after Fantoon. And unless we need that Ether Medallion, we are on Link to the Past go mode.
Looking at our items, yes, we are actually. Solski is not crowning Go mode himself yet, though he doesn't have those flippers, and he could be spending quite a long time looking for those flippers. He could go swimming around in Meridia looking for those flippers, and not find them at all. But I reckon both of our runners are going to be trying to track down that Variosuit and Gravity Suit. Those are proving quite elusive right now.
Especially after a lack of Variosuit hurt Solski very badly yesterday.
It's got to be at the back of their minds, though, because both of these runners can do stuff like Suitless Dragon, Hell Dives. It's well within their skill level. If they're in the semi-finals of this tournament, Andy and Solski are very, very skilled at both games, at both Super Metroid and Link to the Past. So those kind of like secret. These kind of secret tricks have got to be at the back of their minds, thinking, should we do these or should we go track down those items? What is the other guy doing? Is he going to have those items somewhere and is going to be going through these areas the intended way? Or is he going to sequence break them too? It's decisions to be made here by both runners. Solski's decision is to go back into Link to the Past. Now we know he's got to get those flippers from Skullwoods, a pendant, and he has the capability of clearing quite a lot of crystals now, so it'll be quite some time before he picks up those flippers, or even thinks of going into Skullwoods for flippers or anything else. But he is headed to the west.
I imagine we're about to see a trip to the Maya area via the...
Yeah, Solski's going to activate that flute first. So get your 07s in chat for the Scourge of Hyrule, the duck, the seagull, the goose, the whatever type of bird you want to call it, is now unleashed upon the world.
Solski is into the Dark World. This could be Skullwoods, it could be Hammer Pegs.
It could also be Magic Bat. He has picked up that powder.
Well, if he's going to... Well, he's going to the Dark World, but yeah, it looks like Hammer Pegs, and then he'll probably do Magic Bat after.
It's good that he's doing these isolated item checks before just going like straight to Misery Mire and going through that. But we know he's not going to get his flippers here. He might get Fairy or Gravity Suit here. We don't know yet, but So the first item is just bombs. But we know he's got to go north and go to Skullwoods to get his really necessary flippers. He can get over to Ice Palace without those flippers, that's no problem for him at all, but Swamp Palace is impossible to complete without the flippers.
And as Alucard 2004 in chat points out, there's always that big chest in Thieves Town.
Ooh, yeah, of course. That's not a pleasant thing to go back for at all. I would imagine if Solski's thinking about that, he's probably going to do Skullwoods before. So nothing from the magic bat. Solski gets picked up by the duck. He's not going Skullwoods. He's going Maya.
Well, he just got access to Maya. It makes logical sense for him to come check this out. He can full clear the dungeon. He has silver arrows. He has he has a torch. He has everything he could want for this place. And it's where, he managed to skip Varia last night. So it's probably weighing on his mind a little bit.
And we did see outside there was actually bombers required to get in here. So Craig was our optional medallion today. So just some bombs inside Checkerboard Cave. And I really don't see any realistic way that Solski's going to be skipping items in here. He knows he needs the flippers, and he's also really, really going to want fair suit and gravity. And those could be pretty much anywhere.
And he is skipping out on the bowling alley, which means no screw attack for him.
Ooh, interesting.
Make his lower Norfair less convenient. But it could save him some time.
It could also make it hellish if he's going down there without the fair suit. He's headed back into Red Towers. I imagine he's just going straight down to go face off against Kraid.
He'll probably stop by the X-ray and spacer rooms to get his garbage.
Of course, he hasn't done this yet. Solski getting hit by the spikes in the Beamwell statue quite a bit there. He's already lost much of his... He's on red mouth, so he's not in too dangerous a spot, but we don't have a massive excess of links to past health that you would quite often have when going into Mizumai, so can't play it too incautiously.
Head Konya asks in chat about the suits. The gravity suit lets you jump around and function normally in water. Wow, and he skips those power bombs. Yeah, he's going back for those. You might want those for crystal flashes. And the various suits prevent you from taking constant heat damage in the heat areas, which are in several sections of Upper Norfair and pretty much all of Lower Norfair. Speaking of Varia, there it is in the mire, same place it was last night. Exact same chest.
Good thing I'm not making a drinking game of this, otherwise I would probably be downing several shots by now.
This will, of course, lead Solski even further away from those flippers. However, it will also almost certainly mean that he'll go straight to Lower Norfair out after this place and kill Ridley.
I think worst case scenario for Solski right now would be finding Gravity Suit somewhere and then deciding he's going to go clear Meridia and Norfair trying to find his flippers.
Maniacal asks, would it really pop up? It popped up in the chest above the torches in Maya, same place as it was last night.
Ooh, Andy messes up his missile spit, and Kraid gets to stand up. But one more charge shot takes out Kraid. So I got a quick look at Solski's menu there. He hasn't picked up the compass yet, but he's on his way to Vitreous now.
Well, Vitreous does drop a required crystal.
Link Force tracker tells me that both items were found in Maya, so yeah. Solski has made sure to get everything he could want from Maya. No accidents this time.
I believe he got both items before the big key, so...
So with the silver ass in hand, Solski's going to have a particularly easy Vitreous fight here.
And he skips the magic powder.
That's an interesting call, actually, because he already used his mushroom, and he didn't hard reset the game, so that mushroom is gone forever.
Well, fortunately for him, it's not going to hurt.
Yeah, it's like a magic bat doesn't drop anything he needs, but it's one check that he's putting out of array, never to come back to unless he really decides to go get that powder. And whilst Andy does have the flippers from Skullwoods that Solski does not have, he doesn't have the Fairsuit or the Gravity Suit. Solski does have the Fairsuit, so Andy's also thinking, where could these items be? Given that Andy's activating his flute right now, there's a very good chance he's going to pick up his Fairsuit shortly, but we don't quite know yet.
I can't imagine him going anywhere else but Maya with his first flute. Now, as long he wants to go finish off Pod. Which, you know, you have to do it, so might as well do it right now.
Yeah, and there's, I think, one more item on Helmus. So it's a small check and a crystal. Not a bad play by any means.
You know what? We could have a double suit, same as last night, because I believe Helmasaur was what had the gravity. Or maybe that was game 1. This will also give Andy his second 5/6 crystal.
Solski has finished up with Desert Palace. He's not going to clear it up for that pendant. And
Interesting
again,
choice. He's coming right over here towards Pod.
Yeah, once again, Solski is basically following Andy just a minute in the past. So, other interesting tricks that have been discovered lately, you can actually clear Ganon's tower without needing the bow by clipping the mimics into the wall, making the game think they're off screen and opening the door, much like using the bottle glitch in Pod. But if Pod is a crystal, you are going to need the bow no matter what to hit this Icor statue and retract the wall to go down the stairs. I believe Aussie 101, other finalist in the tournament, is the one who's responsible for discovering the way to skip the mimics in Ganon's Tower. So shout outs to him. Alright, we've got Helmsor time for Andy.
17 missile strikes, or 5 bombs to get the mask off.
Honestly, when I was playing through Link to the Past as a kid, I had no idea the hammer could actually break the mask. I thought, this hammer is way too short range, I will never hit that mask. How can I break this mask? And so I used everything in my inventory until I started throwing bombs at him and it chipped off a bit. And it wasn't until I first started seeing Link to the Past on streams that I discovered you can actually use the hammer on the mask. Wow.
See, same for me, but reversed. I always knew you could use, never knew bombs.
Now we do not have complete deja vu this time. There was no gravity suit on a Helmsor.
And Andy heads over to the Maya area. He will get his various suit, just based on where the big key was relative to it.
Yeah, Solski's got to be wondering where he should go now. He knows that Ice Palace isn't in logic because he doesn't have the flippers. And that going there to try and find the flippers or the gravity suit is pretty much going to not be a particularly good play for him because it's not going to get him into Swamp Palace either. So he's going to want to find those flippers somewhere.
There's all of Bubble Mountain to check. He also has the Pyramid Fairy he can check, which I believe is what we're seeing right now. And he just makes brutal work of that room.
Solski takes a quick dive in the water there to remind himself no flippers. Thanks to beating Aga 1 earlier, we can make the Pyramid Fairy check quite a bit quicker using the Aga 1 portal to get back into Dark World. Solski's going to run up here. He uses the enemy to get himself a damage boost and allow himself to dash with a pink bomb there. And gets out his mirror. He's going to mirror here and just go straight over to the Aghanim portal and back into the Dark World. Ooh, there's a
shovel! Alright, fetch quest time! And he has collected his various suit.
Solski is immediately checking out that shovel. Now, there's quite a good chance that Gravity Suit itself is in Ridley's Land, and if it's in Ridley's Land, Solski decides to go over there. Solski could be wasting a lot of time in Meridia looking for those flippers. Best possible thing for him right now would be to just go to Skull Woods.
Single green rupee. Solski
he's
is
going
heading
really
towards...
slow.
Yep, he's there, and from there he'll probably do Bubble Mountain.
So behind Golden Treats there are some power bombs. 2 more items up here. One is accessible to him with a space jump. It's a piece of heart. And we're not going to see the other just yet. The other item is another piece of heart.
Well, Screw Attack Solski will be able to get through this place a little faster.
Instead of having to waste super missiles or take damage from these flying whippers here, you just screw attack through them.
Yeah, but takes the awesome Shine Sparkway across the pillow room. But most of him in the game, he can just screw attack his way up, no problem.
I mean, the learn or fair play is not really what Solski needs right now, but none of this is really going to cost him any significant time at all. He's got pretty much every convenience item he could want, and nothing is particularly out of the way here. Nothing really costs him a lot of time, like say going down to Crocodile or going up to Bubble Mountain in Upper North there. So it's not really costing him anything doing this. But if he finds this gravity suit here, the potential is there for him to be wasting a lot of time in Meridia and not finding his flippers. So Andy is finished up with Mizuma and is now on his own way through making his own venture to Lower North there.
Flippers were in the front part of Skull Woods, Mr. Certainty.
Solski going for a Shine Spark strategy to take out the metal parts, always nice to see. But for the second one, he just decides to use some super missiles instead.
The person asking why Andy isn't finishing Link to the Past since he has full go mode for it. The portal to Lower North here is right outside Misery Mire, so if he put that off, he'd have to flute back to Mire and then walk back up to the portal again. This way it saves him just a tiny bit of time.
Alright, we've got Ridley for Solski, and although he's got a full complement of beams, he's going for the super missile strategy on Ridley because it's much faster DPS than him. Super missiles actually do extra damage to Ridley compared to most other monsters, and with 40 supers, he's got plenty of ammo for taking out Ridley in very quick fashion. He gets picked up there, but Ridley isn't quite in his death state yet. One more super, and yeah, there he goes. So, excellent quick kill there for Ridley. Right, so for Solski's sake, we're really hoping that he doesn't get the gravity suit down here. If he doesn't get the gravity suit here, it's going to be in the Link to a Past dungeon, and that's going to benefit him greatly because he is going to have to go back to Skull Woods to get those flippers. So it's really going to come down to if the gravity suit is down here or not. If it isn't, then Solski has a bit of an advantage. Otherwise, Andy will have the advantage here. Really can't say who's going to be in the lead at this point until we find out the last items in Lower Norfair.
So far, though, we found nothing nice in here, but we still have the escape section, which I believe is on more checks. Plus, of course, you can also choose to check Bubble Mountain and Crocomire.
Yeah, although I am a big fan of betting on Crocomire in this case, I would definitely not bet on Crocomire.
That's fair. You already know what flippers are.
Yeah, but we don't know where Gravity Suit is. It's not underneath the Ridley statue.
Just some ordinary super missiles there. Since we have full beam, and that's by far the better option for Mother Brain herself, we don't want them.
Uh-oh.
Hey, there's gravity, and that is not good news for Solski. It is, however, very good news for Andy, as he will no doubt see that on his way out and be in total go mode.
A very bitter gold sword there for Solski.
No, he doesn't know it's better for him. I'll buy a gold sword before I've done several Link to the Past dungeons still.
What is Solski doing?
He may have messed up his timing or positioning or something.
Yeah, he just had trouble getting into that top passage and decides to rebuild the blocks in the room by leaving. Okay.
And down goes Whitley for Andy.
Second shield in the Three Musketeers room at the top of the Ridley escape. And now Solski's going to be doing probably quite a lot of item checks for the flippers that he is not going to find. Oh, this is so unfortunate.
Even more unfortunate is he won't get anything to make either game faster in these areas either, since all the swords, silver arrows, and all the beams. Actually, maximum sadness will apply if he checks out He Who Should Not Be Named over in Meridia for his flippers. Well, you know, they can be yelling seeds it on this one.
You need flippers to go into the water area. Do not check the water area without the flipper. Even if it's a completely different game. So yes, Solski is going to check out Bubble Mountain now and firstly see what's over at the speed booster side. Andy, meanwhile, is at the Ridley statue, and he's very shortly going to be getting that gravity suit. There's a Book of Medora for Solski.
Oh boy, 2 more locations he can check. Well, he won't be reading the pedestal, since he would almost certainly obtain the flippers on the way there.
Alright.
And with that gravity suit, we have go mode at 2 hours, 1 minute, 20 seconds for Andy.
So all Andy has to do is basically he can take the back door to Dragon now from the Dark World, and he can get there quite conveniently from Ice Palace. He can pretty much go mode Ice Palace and Swamp Palace, and that's particularly good for Swamp Palace. It saves you a lot of time go moding Swamp Palace instead of checking out the left side for stuff that you may want.
Well, Solski did find the high jump boots in Bubble Mountain. It's, you know, something. Unfortunately, he's heading down to Crocomire. This is going to seriously cost him some time that he really needs to be spending getting those flippers.
So say hi to Crocomire. And Crocomire responds very, very badly to charged plasma shots. It pretty much sent backpedaling all the way, and Solski is memeing a bit with a grapple beam on Crocomire's legs.
Well, Andy has escaped from Lower Norfair. Will not be getting the high jump boots in Bubble Mountain because he's going straight to Link to the Past. I imagine we'll see him do Swamp into Ice, and then from there head on to Dragon.
So first item in Crocomire area is just some missiles. And I think that's pretty much going to be the summary of what's down here. Missiles, bombs, rupees, arrows, pretty much nothing of any. We've got almost everything we could possibly want for both games now. In terms of swords, defensives, health, ammo.
Have you seen where the X-ray is yet?
We haven't, no. I suppose there's that, but that makes Dragon a little bit quicker.
And Grapple Beam Dragon's plenty quick enough.
So vanilla X-ray is missiles.
I thought that was Vanilla Grapple.
Oh yeah, vanilla grapple, yes.
Yeah, I played so many randomizers, though it starts to get mixed up.
They're both kind of found in red areas. X-ray is in red tower, grapple beam is in red Norfair. And they're both kind of optional items you don't really need to complete the game. They're just mostly there to make for convenience or for... So Andy's just headed straight into the back in Swamp Palace. No need to check Addison here, no need to check the left side. No need to even check out the chests in the flooded room. The only thing he's missing compared to Solski is the red mail, Andy doesn't need the red mail to complete Link to the Past. He doesn't need all the hug containers he has to complete Link to the Past. He especially doesn't need that gold sword. He can complete Link to the Past with a much lower complement of items very comfortably.
Oh boy, another energy tank. Only 2 to go for the full energy tank dream.
So with the gold sword and the hook shot, this is a particularly quick Argus. Andy doesn't quite get the 1 cycle, but so Argus is just going to float here for a little bit, spinning around his blobs that no longer exist, and then jump up in the air, comes down, 1 silver arrow, and down he goes. For some power bombs. Oh boy, Solski's breaking the pipe, he's going into Meridia.
Well, it's going to find plenty more bombs, missiles, and rupees. And arrows, too.
Marmot out of room is some supers and a piece of heart.
And he returns to the Ice Palace, where he will no doubt just beeline straight to Cold Stare. Doesn't even have to worry about his magic too much, since he has a Bombos medallion. Otherwise, you do need a full magic bar to fire rod him down.
Watering hole in Meridia has nothing. It's probably going to be the same thing he's going to say for the next 10 minutes on the Solski side. So, unfortunately. And Andy's making his way back through Ice Palace once more. Hovers across the gap just because he can. Both Andy and Solski love their hovers.
Yes, they do. It's a very cool trick, and one that I personally have not yet successfully performed.
Oh, I've never even tried to hover myself. My fingers are too old and slow to do that kind of button mashing required for it anymore. So, a bottle in the snail room in Meridia. Solski taking a save here so that he can check out the sandy pits and reset when he inevitably doesn't find those flippers. And even for Magic Bar, is just going to use the entire thing to break this Cold Stare Ice Cube. Gets the Cold Stare Puffballs in the corner with the Gold Sword, takes them out very, very cleanly. Very nice quick kill.
It is still faster to fire the Cold Stare shield down than it is to wait for the Bombos cast animation.
Indeed. You have a full magic bar, and you've got tons of sword power for killing off the cold stare puffs. So, yep, just drain your magic much faster. Because you're going to get a full refill anyway from killing the boss. And he's fluting away, so he's going to do Ganon's tower first before Dragon.
Well, you know, maybe he'll get an X-ray in there and just microwave him. Right, Solski. Looks like he's not going to be making the Shack Tool play, because he's out of both sand pits already.
Right, so
what is your guess for
Andy's-
the big key?
My guess is always 19, simply because I'm a big fan of Ice Armos, and number 19 puts its, if you check out the right side first, you then go down, kill Ice Armos, and find it in the vanilla chest.
Very nice. My guess today will be 16, for no good reason.
Solski's taking on Dragon now. No microwave to make some crispy eel, but with Char's Plasma, it's not particularly difficult anyway.
But first he has to get through this bot wound fight.
Oh,
This
yeah,
fight also
this one-
logically requires Charge Beam, in addition to at least Mother Brain.
Yeah, this one is bot wound, the other one is Dragon.
But don't worry, we'll have to see Dragon in just a couple minutes.
Alright, Andy's headed into Ganston now, and I'm going to be stopping the big key guess game as soon as he goes in. So first item is a small key.
Small keys, but Andy is still going to go left. I know some miners like to go right when they get a double small key.
Number 3 on the torch is a blue ruby. If Bob existed in the combo randomizer, he would be alive today.
Just like the Aghanim ball saving this, Bob was another casualty of the combo.
Number 4, 50 rupees. Number 5, big key. Looks like our first sub or supporter to guess correctly today was McLagging.
Congratulations, McLagging! The Winter casting of Screw Attack is required. It's not, force required, although there are situations where it can be progression. If you find it before Muffball. Or before, some form of bombs.
And whilst I was busy looking at the big key on Andy's side, Solski took down Dragon without me even noticing. So Solski's not done here in mid yet. There's still many more checks he can do and not find those flippers.
Yep, we got the Plasma Room check, and we have the Shack Tool.
Oh yes. Though he is actually leaving. Alright, Solski, where are you going from here?
He's floating to somewhere. He's making the total lock play. Oh no!
Oh no, I didn't even think of this. Yeah, he can go and clear out all of Turtle Rock and find nothing.
He's also going to check out that Ether Medallion. the ether tablet, sorry.
First of all, he's going to go Spike Cave.
Yes, you picked up half magic somewhere.
Yeah, that was, I want to say it was behind Crocomire.
Oh, nice super speed escape from Spike Cave. I've never seen that one before.
Yeah, not a lot of people use the speed strats on the stairs that you can do in many places, such as in the cave. And most people, when they are exiting out of the cave, they would usually just take the save and crit. Because they've often cleared out most of Death Mountain before Spike Cave, and they're just checking Spike Cave as the last thing, and they find nothing, and they save and crit to somewhere completely different in the world. And he decides he's got no time for Moldorm 2, he's in go mode. He knows Solski hasn't finished yet, so no time to fight, only time to hover. But he did mess up the first time.
Yes, which means it took him longer than it would have if he just killed more.
Alright, Aga 2, and that looks like a triple on the first wave.
Yes.
Double on the second, some blue balls got in the way.
And down
And
goes
the
Mega 2, the 3-2-1 pattern. Falcon asks, the hover is only faster if you do it successfully on the first. If you have to go in and try a second time, then you would have been better off never trying in the first place. Meanwhile, we see Solski working his way through the Turtle Rock, full of bombs and arrows and rupees galore.
And Ganon gives us some nutrition advice. I skipped breakfast this morning. I really should stop doing that.
The third casualty and final that I know of that Ganon teleports are also not guaranteed the same between two players.
Ganon teleports are pretty much the only concern for Andy here, because phase 1, phase 2, they're nothing. He just gets through them like they don't even exist.
So even if you get an awkward position for Ganon with the fire bats in phase 2, the gold sword means you just need to slap him a few times.
And he gets a torch grenade, gets Ganon in a nice position for a double here. Yep, gets a double.
And Ganon is down. Everybody get 1 G in the chat for Andy.
Just 1 G. No more, no less.
Yep, you still have to earn the second one.
And 3 Gs is right out. Solski, where are you? Lost in Turtle Rock, trying to track those flippers that we know aren't here.
It's possible along the way he may have forgotten that he hasn't checked Skullwoods. Running all of these combo randomizers back to back, can cause some exhaustion in these runners. I know that overall tournament runner fatigue is why there's not planning to be a spring linked to the past tournament this year.
So Andy takes the back door back into Meridia. It's Solski made his way out of after taking Dragon, but Andy's taking it to go to Dragon. Actually, it doesn't have that much health. It's not going to be a problem for him. It just
He still has like 3 reserve tanks.
yeah, like he can still safely grapple Dragon to death if he so chooses.
See Solski doing a little bit of an unnecessary swag over to the big chest and Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that's got to be a frustration of at this point. Oh, Andy does go for the energy refill.
It makes sense. Why be, why be sorry when you can be safe? Because if he were to die on Dragon, it'd put him back at the ship.
Solski down of Mimic Cave is going to continue his venture into Turtle Rock, which is probably where all of our heart containers are hiding, right there on Laser Bridge.
Yeah, for all the Super Metroid health we've gotten, 10 heart containers is, I'd say, below average for one of these seeds.
And he's just going for Charles Plasma shots here rather than going for Grandma Stretch. And Dragon's choosing to play quite nicely and not do spit out any goo. If I just choose to spit out goo, one more hit takes him out anyway.
From here, he'll simply take the portal back to the Dark World, save and quit, and then reset to the ship. Probably won't even bother to refill his health and ammo. Meanwhile, on the laser bridge, we have a compass. One of the missing heart containers. Oh, a sank heart. The map. And $50. And there's the save and quit into Super Metroid.
It's Andy from the east side of the map straight up to the top in Criteria, and all he has to do is just head over to Turian now and take out the Mother Brain. Solski taking on Trinex here, and he's going for attacking the heads from the back. Not something you actually see quite often, but it is very effective because it keeps you up against the wall nice and tight, and you can get lots of hits in on the heads. Two spin hits and a single slash takes care of the Trinex snake, and Solski picks up his first pendant and another heart container. It's not even the green pendant, unfortunately, for Solski. That's the Desert Palace one. Okay, it looks like Solski's going back into Super Metroid from here. I don't think he checked out the Bomber's tablet yet, did he?
I don't believe so.
Because you know, he's taking the mirror back to the Desert Palace, so he's going to finish off another pendant dungeon. Oh dear. Clearing out his pendants before going to check Skullwoods.
He's probably playing at this point to maybe consider pulling the ped.
So Andy has just taken off his suits here and is just walking into the side hopper to get damaged. He immediately jumps into Baby Metroid to get grabbed, and with the suits off, it drains Samus's health very quickly and saves a lot of time. Although Andy was facing left, so I think he loses like 40 frames doing that. Tut tut. You need to face right when grabbed by the Baby Metroid.
It's really hard to do baby skip with no high jump boots. May even be impossible.
Yeah, only Solski picked up the high jump boots, so he's going to be the only one considering a baby skip here. So Solski picks up his green pendant. I think he's probably going to hand this in before he goes to Scar Woods. Yes, he is.
We'll see a quick Zeb skip from Andy. As we get through Mother Brain Phase 1.
Andy's taking down his health already a little bit to get himself into the right state of health for going for the stand-up glitch here. Andy has taken another hit there, so he can't do stand-up glitch anymore. He's just going to go for...
Could have reached into his reserves to fill up a bit.
I guess, but he's just decided to forego it.
Might as well play it safe rather than risk some sort of soft lock nonsense. Full beam combo, it was only 20 shots to get through Mother Brain Phase 2.
And hey, it looks like Solski's actually going for Morphula before actually picking up the flippers. He's going to go for maybe he'll go for the pedestal before getting those flippers. So down goes the Baby Metroid for Andy, and he gets his Hyper Beam, and because he didn't go for the stand-up glitch here, he's going to have to go for the full amount of hits here to take down Mother Brain. If he'd gone for the stand-up glitch, he could be potentially like 1 to 5 hits to take out Mother Brain. It's very, very quick, but you can risk like you mentioned, you can risk a soft lock if you do wrong things, like say charging your beam up when the Hyper Beam activates, which will crash the game. But there goes Mother Brain for Andy now. He's not quite done yet. He's still got to escape. He's got 3 minutes to do it. Can he do it? I think he can.
I predict he will choose to save the frames.
Hey, Solski's going for the purple. It's just Couch Cash. Well, he chose to check it before actually going for the blind pull. Oh, Andy misses up his speed booster and has to science back through here again.
The time was pretty generous on this escape. Unless it's your very first time playing the game and you have no idea what.
Compass in the back of Skull Woods. Solski's very shortly going to be getting his flippers. Is he going to be getting them before Andy finishes or after? Andy gets the science back after the shaft. Andy chooses to save the frames because it's not GGQ. Most of our runners choose to save the animals, and Andy finishes with an official SLL time of 2 hours, 31 minutes, 38 seconds, securing his place in the finals for the winter tournament. GG to Andy.
Right as he does that, Solski finally gets the flippers, and Solski has chosen to forfeit.
Yeah, GG to Solski too. I mean, just this one check was basically separating him and Andy is joining us in chat. GG, Andy.
GG.
So you are through to the finals. How are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling pretty good. I know it can go either way with a lot of the people that are, that were in top 8. So it feels good to pull out some wins against Solski.
Welcome to double best of 5 fun times.
Yeah, it's gonna be a busy couple weeks.
No rest for the wicked. So I saw you two were discussing in IRC quite a lot. It's all came down to those flippers. When you got into the West Dark World, you went straight to Skull Woods instead of the Thieves Town, and Solski went straight to Thieves Town and did not go to Skull Woods, and so got flippers at the exact same time he finished, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, it made sense with the route I did. It didn't make too much sense with the way he did it. That's just how it goes sometimes.
Unfortunately, those things happen. You can play an entire game and you skip one location, and it had what you needed. I saw you skip a couple locations. You skipped the bowling ball alley. You skipped the X-ray room. Bowling ball had your screw attack, by the way.
Yeah, that's what Solski said. Yeah, I felt pretty behind at that point because I figured if Solski went pot early, he got Morph Ball pretty soon after Thieves Town and probably immediately went to Super Metroid, which had Flute and Hammer, which led you to Mire for the suits pretty much. So I wasn't feeling too great. I went to Wreck Ship as like a gamble of sorts. When I saw Ether on the outside criteria item, I was like, all right, we're just going to do it all. We're going to skip bowling and just hope that, Gravity or Varia isn't one of the 2 items down there.
Yeah, we saw that Ether there because at that time we didn't know what Misery Mire needed.
Yeah, exactly.
But instead, the curse of post-Fantoon ship holding no value continues.
Yeah, then pretty much at that point, it was, Fantoon into Kraid into, Go mode, A Link to the Past, basically. So it was just figuring out what to do first.
On the upside of the seed, you got the boots and speed booster relatively early. Zoom all.
Yeah, the seed was pretty interesting logic-wise, needing to go into early Brinstar stuff to get a bow and Moon Pearl to get your mids to get Morph Ball. Yeah.
I know some people complain that sometimes the seeds don't seem as randomized as they could be from each other.
But who knows?
I believe Solski left a statement in the RC that he wanted to tell the people. He had to leave, but he wants to say that he is retired from these competition tournaments, and he wants to thank everyone for the support and the admins, just for all the great tournament experiences he's had.
Yeah, he won't have as much free time this year, most likely, so he can't commit to long tournaments.
Long tournaments are a serious time commitment. Meanwhile, you get to go against Aussie for the championship series of this winter tournament.
Yeah, Aussie's going to be a tough matchup. I'm pretty sure he and I are also relatively even in terms of, races we've both been in and who's won. So it should be a real good series.
If you handed me the top 8 and told me who to win, I'd probably just pick a name out of a hat. Because all of you guys are just amazing.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to see the tournament and the tricks you guys have been putting off in it.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for a high jump boot go mode, because without any suits I had like 11 E-tanks, I think, so I could have done lower Norfair without Varia, and I needed high jump boots to do Dragon without gravity. So I was kind of hoping to find those in Mire, but finding Varia into gravity is a nice alternative, I suppose.
My jump was in Bubble Mountain, by the way.
Oh.
The lower right spot.
Yeah, that was the first of the areas that Solski did after finishing off the Rudy escape area. He got the gravity suit and then decides to clear out pretty much all of Super Metroid. So after taking out Dragon in Meridia, he kind of ducked out at that point instead of checking out like Plasma Beam and Shacto and that stuff, and started doing the Pendant Dungeons instead. But he had also checked out Crocomar. He'd done a lot of stuff in Super Metroids before finally finding those flippers.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's a lot of stuff in Super Metroid to warrant doing that over Skullwoods, unfortunately.
I mean, it's like 2 items versus a whole wealth of other items. So perfectly understandable, but just unfortunate. But it's a nature randomizer. You don't quite know where those items are going to be, and you've got to make these gambles sometime, and sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't.
Yep, that's the way it goes.
Do you have any final comments on this seed?
No, it was fun. I enjoyed it. GG's to Solski.
Alright, yes, GG's to you both. I'd like to thank both of you for giving us this wonderful race today. I'd like to thank Revolver Ocelot for joining me here on comms, and Link401 for tracking, and everybody in the chat for watching. It's great having you guys here, and if any of you want to play this game for yourself, I encourage you to look into it. There's a link posted in the chat.
Absolutely, and if you want to place a little bet on who's going to win in our finals, the option's still there. Because of our sponsors, Fire.gg, you can actually bet on the upcoming races, and I believe for non-US viewers, you can also place down a free bet, and if enough people contribute, you can actually put some additional money towards the overall prize pool. So do check it out. So I think about covers things here. This was yet another excellent race in this tournament, and hopefully Solski will be facing off against, I believe it's going to be Hitaka in the bronze rankings, and there's going to be the finals coming up after that with Andy and Aussie 101, and that is going to be excellent to see. So I am really looking forward to that. So I will say good night myself and leave it with you, Lachlan.
Alright, everybody take care. It was a pleasure commentating this race for you guys. Forward to seeing you during the finals. Good night, everybody.